Some of the reasons why we chose to move to Lehigh too were kind of to make it easier for my mom to separate, to leave, to have a home base, to have kids by, to have a support. And now she's got all of it. She's got her support system. She's got the love of her life. She has people. She's good. She doesn't need me to hold her hand. And I've never really wanted to live super close to family. I've always wanted to be able to like do my own thing and be independent, kind of run my life how I like it and how I want to. So it's also a way to like distance ourselves from the drama, the everything, and really just figure out our own lives and our own things that we want to do with our kids.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, July 11th, 2024, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Tony and Mykelti Brown are moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, and the couple shared the reason why they're moving after weeks of speculation about the reasons for moving. And Tony nonchalantly shared that the reason why they're moving is because he received an opportunity to teach chess at the National Chess Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tony also said that he will be helping them with their online live streaming of chess. I don't know what that means, but he said it's for their chess content creators. Either way, they are moving because he was offered an opportunity to teach at the Chess Center, which is located in Charlotte. Tony has been making the rounds on the circuit of professional chess for several years. And according to recent rankings, he's the number 17 or 15 in the state of Utah. He ranks in the 96.5 percentile, and he has a title of first. His state ranking in the state of Utah is 15 out of 722, which is the 98th percentile. And overall, he's tied at 2975 out of 77,000 total chess players. So he's in the 96th percentile. He is currently listed as a first category as a title that has earned by him. So he's not a grandmaster, but he is working towards his chess career. And he said that this is an opportunity for him to get more involved in the chess world. Interestingly, Mykelti stated that she wanted to move not just because of the chess, but because now that her mom has settled and found David and is established, she wants to get away from all of the drama, I guess, and have her own family away from everyone else. It was an interesting ad because it sounds like the decision to move to Charlotte is 100% because he was offered this opportunity. And then she just added that leaving would give them the space to have breathing room from everything that's been happening in her family for the last several years. And listen, whether you like Mykelti or don't like her, it would be complicated for any child to be in the middle of a divorce, which is not amicable. It would be challenging to be in the middle of a reality show where your parents are fighting. It would be challenging to have to be a huge support system to your parent when you're the daughter and they're the parent. It's sort of like reversing roles. And that's a lot to put on a kid, regardless of what you think about Christine. Now, Mykelti has a very complicated relationship with her mom. She loves her, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't have issues from her childhood that relate to her mother and how she was raised and the environment that she grew up in. But Mykelti is leaving to get away from the drama. And I think the drama doesn't just extend from her issues with Christine, but I also think it's just the drama of her parents. I wouldn't, frankly, want to be in the middle of my parents' divorce either. I wouldn't want to have to be the one that's managing drop-offs. I wouldn't want to be the one that's dealing with the custody issues. It would be a lot to put on a child. So she and Tony have made the decision to leave, and they are moving to Charlotte. Now, what is Tony going to be doing there? He's going to be teaching at the Chess Center. Chess instructors apparently don't make a ton of money. According to a recent post for career opportunities, part-time instructors make $45 a class. So Tony's not going there right now to make money. It's more of like a long-term opportunity for him. Get involved in the chess world and try to fulfill his dream. Chess grandmasters can make good money if you get to the highest level tier, which is challenging. Obviously, there's a lot of chess players, but you can't do it unless you try. So they're moving to Charlotte. But also, something else that they mentioned was that she's has the benefit now of living closer to Maddie, who is not in Charlotte, a couple hours away from her, but closer than where she is now. And it's her only sibling that has children and the only one that in the near future that will have children. It doesn't sound like any of her other siblings want to have kids at this point in time. So she will be closer to Maddie. But then they slipped and accidentally leaked some information about Janelle. Check it out.
It will be really nice. And then it'll be nice too because I've always grown up very, very, very close to the Christine Brown household. So this will be a nice way for me to like really get very close again with the Janelle Brown household too.
Yeah, I mean, Janelle lives out there. And
I
Savannah's
also
out
don't
there.
think that was released yet too. So.
God damn it, I can't say anything. God.
Yeah, you need to shut your mouth.
I'm just gonna leave again. I'll be back. I'm gonna go get
some swig.
Well, there you go. There's a spoiler. Janelle Brown has moved to North Carolina. And I think people knew that she's splitting time between Flagstaff and North Carolina, but I don't think she's ever made clear that she's going to be moving permanently to North Carolina. I suspected she was moving there to North Carolina permanently because she and Maddie and Caleb formed a business in March, not long after Garrison passed away. And it felt like she was going to be moving to North Carolina and making her home base where Caleb and Maddie lived. Obviously, Janelle is very attached to her grandchildren. She's always been very close to her daughter, Madison. And going there seems like a place where she can go to get a fresh start, get away from Cody, and move on with her life. What I think is funny is that in one breath, Mykelti says that she doesn't want to be near her mom and the drama of her mom and the family drama. And she wants to have the space to do her own like life and not be encumbered by the family. And then at the same breath, she's like, I'm also excited to be closer to the Janelle Brown family household. And she's the one that puts out there that she's going to be closer to Janelle. And then Tony's like, yeah, because she lives there now. And she's like, well, I don't think that's out there yet. She's the one that put it out there, and then she blames Tony for saying it and agreeing with her. Either way, no, it hasn't been publicly announced that Janelle has moved there permanently. And I suspected that that's what was happening either way. So it sounds like Janelle has moved to North Carolina, and she's going to be making that her permanent home base. She made this decision to move and was making the transition around the winter of this year. And she said that she would be splitting her time. And a couple months after her making that decision, Garrison ends up taking his own life. Garrison had a lot going on outside of her moving, so I'm just sharing like sort of the timelines. Like she makes the decision to move, Garrison passes away in March, she forms the business with Madison and Caleb late March, and she's been basically in North Carolina since and goes back to Flagstaff basically to film. At this point, my suspicion is that she wants to move, but she can't cut her contract with TLC, and they're not going to travel to North Carolina to film. And so in order to fulfill her contractual obligations, she has to travel back and forth to be on camera every couple weeks and then back in North Carolina to live. So it's like kind of weird to think about, is she going to be on the show acting like she still lives in Flagstaff, or on the show will they actually be showing that she's making the transition out? And then once leaving Flagstaff and permanently going to North Carolina, then what happens? Is she going to continue to go back and forth? That's a lot of work just to be on a reality show. Reality shows are getting more and more expensive to make, especially Sister Wives, simply because when TLC signed this contract with them, they all lived in one place and they were basically at one home filming one house. Now they have locations in Utah, 2 locations in Utah, mind you, because Christine's in northern Utah and then Mary's in southern Utah, and then Flagstaff, and then North Carolina. When you start splitting locations, you're talking about different film crews, more staff, more production staff, more cost for production. And then you're also starting to talk about which is all time and money for a network. And then when you also start to think about all of them now are demanding their own individual salaries, the show went from a low budget show to a more high budget show. And I don't know if you've looked at the marketplace of reality television and if you've looked at the space of online streaming, whether it's Discovery Plus or Max or Paramount, they're all merging. Like all these different platforms are merging because streaming networks are finding that it's not profitable, and production companies all over the place are shutting down. And streaming platforms and networks are starting to pay a lot less for production. They're starting to cut and slash budgets because they have these streaming platforms that aren't bringing in the revenue, and so then they have to cut money elsewhere, and they're not getting the same ad revenue on the streaming platforms. So if you think about, they launched Discovery Plus. Now Discovery Plus is basically on Max. Max is now considering merging with Paramount. You have all these different competing streaming platforms charging subscription fees to watch, and then they're not getting the same ad revenue when you watch it streaming. And so that's impacting the bottom line in reality television, and it's making it so they are cutting series. They are cutting budgets. And so a reality star that might have at one point gotten a ton or might have made a lot of money and had a higher income, they're going to see their income dwindle because the networks do not have the money to put into it anymore because there's too much money being spread out. There's too much content being spread out. The content that's being put out isn't getting the same kind of revenue it once was, even on cable. Whether it's cable or streaming, the money's just not there anymore because it's so diluted. And it's eventually, because it's become so diluted, probably going to end up going back to the cable model at some point simply because the bottom line for these places is to make money. They all were trying to compete with Netflix, and there can't be a million different Netflix. There just simply can't. And when every single network wants to have their own platform, it doesn't work for the consumer because the consumer is going to be forced to have to pay for every single company's platform, which drives up cost, which doesn't save the person money from just having cable television. The benefit of streaming was it was supposed to save us money, and it's actually becoming more expensive. So bottom line is Janelle's move going to impact the show, and does that mean the show is going on the outs? Because if she's going to make the move to North Carolina, I just do not see them following her there, which is why she keeps going back to Flagstaff. And then Mykelti and Tony are moving there too, so it's like I don't see them staying on the show either because, frankly, they're not getting paid at all. Tony and Mykelti make $0 for when they appear on the show. It's exploitative, it's crappy all the way around, but Janelle has left, and that's a good thing. Does this mean that Janelle's going to leave permanently and leave the show eventually? I think the show could potentially end up getting canceled after season 20. I just do not see it moving forward in any capacity after that, but I don't know. Budgets are something that have to be negotiated, and it comes down to if they decide to renegotiate a contract. So that's what I have for now. Tony and Mykelti are moving. She doesn't want to be in the middle of the drama. He gets an opportunity with chess, and then she's going to North Carolina to help Tony pursue his dream, and then she's happy to be closer to Janelle and Maddie as a byproduct of it all. What are your thoughts? Make sure to leave some comments about it. Make sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and then click that bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.